Welcome back, homebodies. Thank you so much for coming back for another video. My name is Shannon, Miss Smith, if you please. And over here at The Home Life, we like to focus on full-time homemaking and part-time business owning. Now, we're going to try something new, okay? And y'all going to have to give me some feedback. But today's video, along with maybe 3 to 5 more, are going to be actual vlogs, like interior design vlogs. I always wanted to know like what that looks like. Not the cutesy walk around a warehouse or the stage talks. Like, I want to see the behind the scenes. I want to see what you really be out here doing. Okay. So that's exactly what these vlogs are gonna look like. As many interior designers, you work on your private home along with other homes, along with other projects, and you kind of just like squish yours in there, like a little razzle dazzle. But yeah. So behind the scenes, the first thing that I'm doing is a hard press on my curtains. This is a 3-finger pleat, and I wanted them to be like so creased. Like, my favorite thing to do is iron anyway, so this was right up my alley. The next thing I needed to work on were the hooks that the rings attached to. Now, I like to open mine a little bit just so that they glide into that seam a little bit easier, because when I leave them closed, I end up ripping my fingers. I end up cutting my fingers. So that's what I'm doing right now, is kind of like prepping the hooks. Now, I did find these particular rods and rings off of Amazon. However, I do not have affiliate links and they have not offered to pay me. So you're going to have to go back on my TikTok, scroll around, look around, be the bestie, and figure that out for yourself, because I will not be offering any free promotions for them. Okay? You know who you are because you see your box in my video. A very common thing with these rings is that they come with clamps. And so I go through and remove the clamps as well as open the hooks, so that when I loop the rings onto the hooks, they're all, put together and they're laying nicely for the install. So there were some hiccups to this, in that my husband initially hung the rod 6 inches too low. Because we do have a tray ceiling in our bedroom, he was under the impression that I wanted the rod lower or closer to the window rather than directly on the ceiling, pretty much. And so he had to go back through, take out, I want to say like 2 or 3 different rods that we had tried before landing on this one, and me being happy with it. So we do have a caveat though. And the caveat is, I think I had these made to be stationary, because at one point me and my husband were talking about those electric roller shades, which I still think we might do. I still think it's a possibility to do that. But let me show you where the caveat has come. So, now mind you, I've had these specific shades for well over 2 years at this point, okay? Today is my first time opening both, okay? So, my auntie made these a top up shade where I screwed this into the top of the window. The fascia board is what I like to call it. I screwed this into the fascia board. However, the other one is a bottom up shade, right? So with this being a bottom up and that being a top down shade, I would prefer having bottom up shades, okay? So if you remember downstairs in that room, that's the plan for this window now because it's a double window. And I like to have, excuse me, I like to have sunlight everywhere. However, our bedroom is south facing and it gets unmeasurably hot in this room, okay? We get sun all day. And it just so happens that y'all uncle usually works nights. And so when he try to come in here and get a nap, baby, it's so bright, he can't go to sleep for more than like an hour or two. So with that being said, I now have the task of figuring out drapes to match the shades. However, these shades and those panel drapes match. So here's what my idea is, and I called my auntie and we talked about it. So I think we're gonna go this route. If you're not following me on TikTok, let this be your sign to go follow me on TikTok. Y'all, look, I'm gonna clear my throat a couple more times, and the reason why is because I got allergies and I ain't take no medicine, number one. But number two, I just went outside and I'm gonna be outside. Anyway, so on TikTok, if y'all remember, you know, there was a conundrum. I had something really important going on and I needed to flip a room in a day. So with that being said, the room that I picked to flip that day, I still needed drapes, a bed skirt, and pillows. So these were going to be the drapes for that room. And come to find out, these, so I cut these to go downstairs, but the pattern actually still matches what's going on in my bedroom. So I'm thinking about making this pattern panel drapes to go with these shades. So let me show you so you can get the vibe. So you see what I'm saying? Are you seeing the vibe here? Or do I need to like bring y'all in? Matter of fact, let me bring y'all in. Hold on. Okay, now y'all can actually see what's going on. So this is the shade that I currently have. And then this is the fabric that I literally just bought. I just bought this. So what I'm thinking is, because it still works with the colorways of what's going on in this room, I could just use this. You know, I could just use that. Also, matter of fact, hold on so y'all can actually get into it. Okay, so this is the bed, this is the curtain, right? So if you get in there, okay, if you, come on, there we go. You see how that really works well with each other? You see how the colors are playing together? So now that I've gotten this fabric with the bed and with the shade, you can see the color story coming together. So blue is actually my husband's favorite color. So let me show you the pivot I think we're about to take. Uh-oh. Okay, so I think we're gonna have to make a pair of panel drapes out of this fabric. And hear me out, I did not cut this sample from the drapes I already cut. I still have more of this left downstairs, so I went ahead and cut it off the bolt so I could like show you what's going on. But I think what's gonna end up happening is we're gonna make some pillows out of this color to put on the bed, as well as the panel drapes that are gonna go in this sitting side of our room. And then on this side, I'm just not sure just yet if we're gonna do like functioning Roman shades out of this or what, because at one point, like I said, I'm sorry y'all, I got text messages and emails. Okay, so I don't know if we're gonna do functioning Roman shades out of this on the sleeping side with black outlining, or the remote shades that we could be doing. So with that being said, we'll see what happens. Now today's video will be real short because I need to go figure out my seedlings, and it's March, okay? Everything I had downstairs in the greenhouse has fried itself. So I need to go and troubleshoot because I only got a couple of months and stuff got to go outside. And I purposely waited until March to start seeds because usually I start them in December. They're ready to go out in March. And I still got 2 more months before they can go out. So I'm about to go troubleshoot that. But beloved, know that you are loved. And when I got an update on these curtains, you know y'all will be the first ones to know.